Welcome everybody, my name is Misty slash Chronexia, or is it really? Well, technically my real name is Mathieu Brunel. I am French-Canadian. J'ai grandi dans une famille francophone, mes parents ils parlent pas anglais pantoute, mais j'ai appris en écoutant des émissions comme Sesame Street ou les Tortues Ninja ou Power Ranger. Now, I decided to make this video because you guys know pretty much what I do in my life making YouTube video, but you don't really know my background, where I come from, where I grew up, and my personal life really. And it's not really a secret, it's just that I never got around to actually talk about it, and I felt like this was kind of missing because I know I'm like this super guy that talks about anime, but really I'm just a casual guy, and I would like to show you that while yeah, I think I'm a cool and fun people to hang with, I'm really just like you guys. I grew up from nothing and I made it up at the top with basically nothing else than just me being hard at work. And it might turn into a sappy video where I just talk about myself for several minutes because I like to hear the sound of my own voice, but also because I think I kind of owe it to you to tell you more about me, because you know there's a lot of YouTuber out there. I don't want to really give name, but they do their stuff, and it's not that they're not invested in their fan base, but they kind of want to make a line and separate it, and I don't really want to have that. So I kind of want to talk about what everything brought me up to what you guys are having, like explain a lot of inside jokes that I have on my channel and a lot of stuff like that. So the first thing I want to cover, this is the original Mr. Duckling. I got this teddy bear, well it's more plushy, more teddy duck, anyway. I got that when my mom was pregnant, and when she delivered me, she had a brother. And he came around and saw me the first day that I was born, and he gave me Mr. Duckling. However, 3 days after, he suicided. So he killed himself. And that was really hard on my mom and my whole family. So this is kind of a memento. I like to think that he was waiting for me to be born so he could actually give me that before he went ahead and do his deed. But yeah, so that's why it's such an important thing in my life, and it's also why I've kept it for like I'm going to be 27 soon, so I still have it, and it's on the side of my bed, and I just keep it as an emotional value plushie thing, Bob. Now, before it gets way more sappier, I kind of want to talk a little bit more about my real background, where I grew up. I grew up in a small town known as Cowansville. It's in the southeast of the province of Quebec in Canada. It's about an hour away from Montreal. And now I live in a town that's close to it, which is Granby, but I kind of want to return to Cowansville, hopefully 2015. Sorry. I grew up in a small town, like I said, but I was going at school in Granby, which is 30 minutes away, but I had to take the bus, like everyone. And the bus was a pretty long ride. It was 30 minutes on the morning, and it was an hour 30 on the evening. So when the school finished at 3:30, we had like an hour 30, so I got home at 5 p.m., which is pretty late when you're a kid and you grow up. Thankfully, I managed to have friends on that bus, so we were doing homework there. And the whole ride, we were having fun doing homeworks and, you know, hanging out like you would do with your normal friends. And doing so, it made it that most of my friends were in Granby, the other town, and the rest of them, well, when I got home, I didn't have anybody to hang with. So I spent most of my time playing video games and watching anime. And when I was 12, this is the time where I first found out the first anime that I watched, and I was stoked about it. Was Cardcaptor Sakura, which most of you probably have heard me talk about it. It's a really cool show. After I grew up, I went into school, well, a higher division of school, and it was the I didn't really know where I wanted to go at first. So when we have a different school system than you guys have in the rest of the world, because yeah, Quebec, we are original. We have after high school, we have something called Cégep, which is kind of like a college thing. It's like just below university. It's kind of a specialization stuff that you do to kind of grow and decide where you want to go, and have like prerequisite course that you need to get into before you go to the university. And the thing about that is that I didn't really know where I wanted to go. When you're just out of high school, you don't always know what you are planning to do with your life. And I was a shining example of that. So I decided first, my mom's working as a in contability, like counting numbers. She was working, well, she is still working for an hospital with the money section, like she count the money and pay stuff, and so I was like, you know what, why not go into marketing? That could be fun. So I did about a year in there, and I eventually came up to the realization that I didn't really enjoy numbers at all. Especially, it's kind of ironic since my name is math, but I didn't really enjoy that. So I decided to not take a break, but change branches. So I went and did all like the basic course that you need to have for university. So French, which is primary in French Canada. Sorry. And then I did like philosophy. What was there also? Yeah, it's been 7 years. I don't really recall. Anyway, basic courses that I did, and I did that for a year. I biology and boring stuff. So when there was also chemistry and physics in there. So basically, when I was done with that year, I decided to go in movie section of studies. So I did 2 years in movie making, and this is where I met Jessica for the first time, which is my girlfriend that I have at the moment. That was around 2009, 2010, around this time. And basically, we kind of hit it off at first, but that was towards the end of the year of my study, and after that I went to university, so we kind of split part there. And I did a year at university in, again, that was movie making. So I did that for about a year, where I learned like editing stuff, and it was really fun. But the industry was really harsh on people, so I didn't really want to stick through that, because I'm more of a inside guy. Not really. Well, I like to go outside and play sports and stuff like that, but for a job, I don't like to depends on the weather stuff, so this is not something I was really hoping to get into. So I went back from Montreal, where I studied for a year, and I went back to Cowansville, where I lived with my parents for another year, where I was working at IBM Canada, which is a company that makes computer chips. So I was working for them about a year, and that's when I came up to a realization that, I've played video games for my whole life, so if there's something I know, it's definitely video games. And let's be honest, I'm more of an artistic guy than manual labor one, so I was like, what if I put both of them together and make my job that thing that I love so much? So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go and do 3D modeling. So I moved again to Montreal for a year, an intensive year, where I was studying 3D modeling. I like to believe I was really good at it. You can probably see some of my artwork I made that I'm gonna put like above here or over there. And I like to think that I was good at it, but the industry is something that you need to have contact to get into. You can be the very best and you won't get a job no matter what, because you don't know people. But thankfully, I was working hard at it, like for an intensive year after I came back from Montreal after studying. I was applying to over hundreds of applications, and I tried to get a job. And eventually, I kind of got a post where, well, a job where I could do exactly what I wanted. I was a director artistic, and I was doing the 3D modeling, the lighting, and everything that goes with that, the whole department. I was in charge of a whole project, and I made the whole thing. It was really cool, but it was a shady company. The owner wasn't always paying me, and when he did, it was barely the average minimal. Like normally, you're supposed to be paid $9 an hour back then. Now it's a little more than that, and I wasn't even getting that. For a day I could maybe get $50, so I wasn't, well, I was underpaid, but I was valuing more the experience about it. So when it came at the end and I was hoping to get my paycheck for the whole month that I had extra work on it, he kind of weasel out of it, so he didn't really pay me. But I kind of had to like work with something we call here les normes du travail, which is something, it's kind of putting the law into stuff, and it's really boring. So I don't want to talk too much about it. But from that point onward, it kind of tarnished my name in the industry, so I couldn't really get back into it. So I was poor. I was really poor. So I needed to work. And after going to university and another year in Montreal where I'm gonna move it. Where I had to, work to get my money back, and it's really hard when you spend so much into when you devote yourself to something and it's just not panning out. But during all this time, like back to when I was in Cégep where I was doing movie making, I started this YouTube channel. That was my very first channel, where I was doing video games walkthrough. I had like over 1,000, if not 2,000 videos of me just playing games and talking over it. They were basically Let's Play. And one day, I made a top 10 video. It was so horrible bad, you wouldn't have. I'm ashamed of it. I would not, even if my life depended on it, I would not put it back. It was just me talking over a black screen saying, you know what, this anime is good, I liked it, and then, oh my god, have you seen One Piece? It's like the best shit ever. I was like, oh man, it's so bad. So, but surprisingly, despite being so bad, so many people have saw it. It was like I had over 100,000 views on it, and the rest of my walkthroughs were like maybe 3,000 views, sometimes maybe 4 if I was lucky. And through all the 4 years where I had the game walkthroughs where I was talking over, Let's Plays and stuff like that, I had like 4,000 subscribers. I was ecstatic. I was like, oh my god, I got 4,000 people, that's so fucking cool. I was like, and I was keeping doing video for these people, which probably don't even know that I have this channel right now. But you know what, I had fun, and that was the reason why I kept doing it, because so many people enjoyed my goofy commentary over the games and everything. But when I made that bad video about anime, so many people got into it. So I was like, you know what? Why don't I try just to make more anime stuff instead? So I kind of put the anime on the downside, and the video games on the downside, and I started doing anime instead. And it blew out of proportion. Like within less than 4 months, I had double my subscriptions. Like I had nearly 10,000 subscribers, which was really good because while my videos were better than the first one I originally made, they were still pretty bad. Sorry. And eventually, because I didn't know YouTube as I do right now, copyright got imprinted in my videos, and basically it ended up with closing my channel. I was heartbroken. Like, you have over 2,000 videos, and in a flash it just goes away and you don't see it back. And I was really about to give up. I'm like, you know what, I'm probably done with YouTube. So for 2 or 3 months I didn't do YouTube. I was like, you know what? What's the point? If I just start doing it again, it's just gonna get copyright and shut down again. But Jessica, which by the way I've met back when I was in Montreal when I was studying 3D modeling, we started seeing each other again. And during the weekend, she was coming down from Montreal to Cowansville to spend the weekend with me, and we started dating and everything, and it was really nice. But she kept believing in me, and she saw that I really enjoyed making these videos. So she said, you know what? Why don't you give it another shot, and this time just be more careful. And that's what I did. I made a second channel, and I started working on it and having more better placement stuff, and just being more careful at first, and it kind of worked. So at one point I was like, you know what, how about I get a partnership deal? I know it's not a lot of money, but it's best to have a little something than none of something. So I was like, why not get a partnership? So I contacted this company called Voltra, which if you are into getting a partnership, do not go with them. Because normally partnership as it goes is if you get a copyright, well, if you get 3 copyright claims, your channel go down. But if you get 1 copyright claim and take it off, then it's like nothing ever happened. However, Voltra, they're like, oh, you got a claim? Well, then that's not of your stuff, so the partnership is done, but we don't tell you. Instead, we're just gonna take the money you make and we're gonna keep it for ourselves. So for about 2 months, they were keeping the money, and when I got to the time where like, yo, can I have my share of the stuff? And they'll be like, no, you got a claim, you can't have that. So it's like, oh, is that so? Well, fuck you guys, you just made a giant mistakes, and I'm gonna do my stuff with somebody else. So that was the time when I didn't shut down my channel. I decided to take all my stuff and move it to this channel, the one you're seeing right now. This was technically my 3rd channel. And when I made this one, I had originally 40 or 50,000 subscribers when I decided to cut my bound with Voltra. And I was like, oh, well, sorry guys, I know you kind of all went through the trouble to subscribe to this channel, but I'm just gonna move my stuff to this new one that I made. And that's when I got a partnership from the get-go with a company called Zoom TV. And from that point onward, a lot of people, not everyone, like out of the 40,000 people who were subscribed to the second channel, 10,000 or so originally made the move at the first day. So I lost like 30,000 people, but maybe they got back to me, so I don't really know. However, for all the people that decided to make the move, I was eternally grateful, because I don't know if you really see the jump it made, but from the moment on April, late April, early May, is when I started this 3rd channel, and if you can see it right now, it's near 400,000 subscribers. Can you believe it? I don't even understand that. I mean, yeah, I have fun doing what I do, and I hope it shows, but that's so many people, and I'm just so grateful that everyone can just see it. Like, they watch my stuff, and like, daily I get message from people. Sometimes it's teenagers and like preteens that write to me, and they're like, oh, I was having trouble in school, a lot of people were bullying me, but then I started watching anime and it changed my whole life. And I'm very touched. It's like, me, this guy, this lonesome guy with a bunch of poster around, and just like talk about, yo, you should watch this, it's really cool. And people are like, yeah, it is. And I'm like, really? But no, seriously, it's hard to put in words, but really I'm so fond of everyone. That's why I spend like so much time replying to comments and everyone. I have just such a great time with the fan base of everything. And like every subject, there's always people that are extremist about something, and that was something I kind of... Again, I don't want to put names on people because I know not everyone is like that, but there's so many extremist people when you get to anime content, especially on YouTube. There's like, oh, you don't know about Attack on Titan? What, are you fucking stupid? And they start a war about something so casual when there's people that are like in their 30s and they want to get into anime and they don't know about it. They're newcomers, like every other topics. Like if you go to a Marvel convention and you're like, who's that Spider-Man guy? They'll be like, oh, how dare you? You don't know Spider-Man? He's like as cool as Deadpool. I'm like, dude, you just want to know, and you ruin every taste you wanted to get into it by being such a jerk to him. I mean, come on, people just want to have fun, and that's what I aim to do with my channel. It's like, not everyone knows about stuff, and I know that. I mean, I'm very knowledgeable about anime content, and it's like I've seen over 100, no, not 100,000, but 1,000 or 2,000 anime, and there's people like, oh, you should see that, it's cool. And I was like, yeah, I saw it. It was okay, but have you seen this one instead? It's like, and they're like, oh no, I don't really know about stuff. And I'm like, sure, I'll talk to you through it. It's a lot of people that are newcomers that tries to get into it, and because a lot of people, not everyone, as I said, not everyone, but a lot of people are jerks about it, and it's such a shame. And I think this is what makes my channel so different, is that I value the newcomers so much. It's a lot of people just want to learn new stuff, and when you're kind of a prick about it, you sound like a douche, and that kind of affects your reputation about it. But anyway, something else that I'm straying way too much. Something else that happened in my life that had a real meaning. Give me a second, I'm just gonna take it. I swear it's water, it's not gin. Another thing that really marked my life is this. This is a novel I wrote about 10 years. It's all in French, a lot of text. It's about 300 pages, no, nearly 400 pages. And this is the first one of a trilogy that I wrote. As I said, it's all in French, so I don't think you guys would be able to read it, which is unfortunate because otherwise I would market the crap out of it. However, this is something I started working on 10 years ago. It was my prized possession. The book was Chronexia and the 8 Seals. It was about a guy, well no, a bunch of people that were legendary heroes, and they killed this bad guy at the very beginning, and then the bad guy comes back and starts abducting everyone, and it's up to the kids of these people that are now like 17, 18-ish to go around and try and rescue them. It was a really fun story, and this is when I created Misty, which is my character that I use for everything now. And basically Misty was this girl, this teenage girl that decided to go along with the main character, and along the way she discovered that she has the possibility to become a goddess, and that's the goddess of time, where she could bend times at her will. So by going through all the 8 seals, she could unlock a part of her power. And when she goes to get the first seal, she noticed that she has this goddess inside of her that's asleep, and her name is Chronexia, which is where the Misty / Chronexia comes from. And from that point onward, these characters kind of stick through me because they were my prized possession, and I made them up from nothing, and I was really fond of these. And my ultimate goal was at first to make it out of a book, which it happened. It's a book now. But it's such a good story. Like, I worked 10 years on it. Like, a lot of books are written within a year or 2 at tops, but 10 years spent on a book. And I like to believe it's a pretty darn good story. It has a lot of time travel, and something that happens in the beginning will have an impact with something later, and something small as a rock can make the whole difference. and it's something that was really fun working on. So at some point, I would like to have it in an anime format where people could get and watch it as a show instead of just a novel. But I'm really, really happy with the way things turn out. As I said, there's also book number 2 and number 3 that are in production. But ever since I made YouTube my full-time job, that kind of got put on the side. So I believe I'm starting to repeat myself a little. As I said, I'm very grateful with you guys. I kind of want to show you Jessica a little more because you guys sometimes hear her, and I know a lot of people want to know a tad bit more about her, so I'm gonna put a few minutes of her talking about herself right after these messages, and after that we're gonna do something else. See ya!
Hi, my name is Jessica. I am the girlfriend of Misty Chronexia, and I am also the voice actress for Octavia and Liz. To tell a little bit more about myself, I grew up in a family with a low income, so I couldn't always have what I wanted. Therefore, my parents couldn't afford braces, and this is why I have braces right now. So I also have an expander in my mouth, so that could explain if I talk weird, so that is supposed to be normal. I am also a big video game fan. My favorite franchises are Borderlands and Persona. I recently just got the Persona Q, so I'm playing this right now. And I also have some tattoos here and there too, to be more precise. I have one little printy from Disgaea. I also have one on my back, but I won't show it to you because that would mean that I need to get half naked, and I don't want that. So, that's pretty much what I have to say about me. So, yeah, that's it. Enjoying meeting you guys.